The show focused on delivering beneficial information on everything to do with products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.
Welcome back to the program. In studio with us today is Jack McIver, master of appliance knowledge and repairs, a man with 50 years experience. This is the 50th anniversary year of McIver's Appliances in Vancouver. Jack with us in studio. We were talking about in our first segment, Jack, and it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
We're talking about the things that set McIver's apart from the competitors. And after 50 years in business, there is a particular way that you go about doing business. You've been doing it for 50 years, and it all has to do with customer-focused attitude, right at the front, starting with you, all the way down through the entire staff and the organization. Customers do come first, and it's what the business is really all about.
Yes, I think the business has changed a lot comparatively to what it was when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And I've changed some, because I've had to adapt, but I still carry the same objectivity towards the customer's best interests.
Right.
That's my situation.
And one of the things that you do that is very, very rarely replicated anywhere else is improvise. You have a problem-solving ability about you, Jack, and customers know that, and they can call you up with, complaints and problems, and you solve them for them.
Yes, excuse me, but that's something that comes with vast experience in a lot of things, and being born with a brain that's part crow, and that means ability to devise or create or use something that wasn't designed to be used for that purpose that you're going to use it for, and know how to pick them. And that is where I am way ahead of my competitors. Nobody even does anything anymore. It's call a plumber, call an electrician,
right?
Call this, call that. And the high rises where they were being flooded, nobody would do anything about it in a common sense way because they wouldn't make any dough.
Mm-hmm.
So plumbers basically are pretty greedy these days. $300 or $400 or $500 or $1,000. Maybe it gets done, maybe it doesn't.
Right.
And people are just gun-shy, plumbers. So what do? I don't do plumbing. But what I do is I do what I can for people.
Well, in some cases, though, if there's a washer problem and there's water everywhere, but automatically, if you don't know what's happening, your first reaction is, oh my gosh, there's water everywhere, better call a plumber. And in fact, Jack, in many cases, the plumber isn't needed. You got to get rid of the water, but the plumber isn't a plumbing issue. It's an appliance issue.
Oh,
isn't
yes.
it?
Oh, yeah, that happens too. But basically, making things work for people is a great challenge for me because I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to talk about companies that we compete with, and one of them is a large national corporation with a service department all over North America.
Okay.
Who sell appliances and furniture and all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And on one instance, a fellow that had purchased one washer and dryer and ended up having 2 more sets delivered and still wasn't satisfied with the product.
Over what time span? He got ended up with 3
6
sets.
6 or 8 months.
3 sets of washers and dryers in 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he came into our store and he talked to Karen, my daughter, and he said, what's your return policy? And Karen said, well, we really don't have a return policy because we don't pressure people into buying from us, and we don't sell products that are not fit for the purpose they're designed for. So we don't have any trouble not having a return policy. There's no reason for it. Don't buy it if you're going to send it back, was what she said to him.
Right, right.
So he says to her,
this strikes him as being a little unorthodox, does it?
Get your dad to phone me. So I phoned him, and I told him the same thing. And he says, that's very strange. I says, no, it's not strange. It's you either are going to like my ethics or you're not going to like my ethics.
Right, right.
We don't take advantage of people. What we do is a job properly. So he came in and he bought the washer and dryer. And
this after 3 unsuccessful attempts with the department store.
And I went into the basement and I disconnected the dryer and I took it out, and in behind the dryer there was 25 feet of white plastic venting going back and forth behind the dryer because the installers didn't have anything to cut it with, I guess.
Because it could have been 3 or 4 feet, maybe 5 or 6, and
No,
it was 25.
5 feet, yeah.
Wow.
So get that out.
Okay.
And get the washer out and bring ours in and set them up and put some new proper aluminum venting on and some clamps, and got that started. And he says to me, I got this freezer. It's a Kenmore. And I said, okay, what's wrong with it? And he says, well, they've worked on it quite a few times, and it never shuts off. So I looked at the back of it, and it had a line tap on it. And a line tap means they've accessed the refrigerant line.
Oh, okay.
And they've either added it or they've taken some out or done something. But it was frosting back to the compressor, and that's called babying it through the warranty.
What does that mean?
Well, babying it through is putting some Freon in it to make it work, but it's not working the way it's supposed to. And then at the end of the warranty, party's over.
Ah, and what would the warranty length be on it?
1 year.
Wow. Okay. So it crashed before the 1 year expired.
Well, it crashed when it got there. I think.
Okay.
I think so. So anyway, so
they did this Band-Aid solution.
I just measured the temperature with my electronic temperature tester.
Okay.
Because I'm very knowledgeable about refrigerators. So anyway, so this freezer. So he says, okay, could you write that up on your work order? And I said, sure, I'll write it up, what it is. So, and then he asked me, these guys looked at my side-by-side fridge upstairs. It's an older side-by-side, but we really like it. He says, it doesn't work properly. So I said, well, let's go up and take a look. So we went up and looked, and it was a Frigidaire side-by-side, 20 cubic feet. And I said, well, open the freezer door. The fan's not boisterous enough.
Okay.
Not blowing enough air.
Mm-hmm.
He said, how do you know that? I said, because my ears can tell the difference. Because my brain knows how much noise it should make.
Of course, yeah.
I said, you need a $40 fan motor, and you probably should change the defrost thermostat and the defrost timer, and you can probably get a few more years out of it. But I can't do it today. I've got other things to do. So I did go back and I did fix it, and that fixed it. Now, he'd had quite a few people visit this stuff from this organization that I'm talking about. And
no success.
Well, no, because I guess the situation is that they don't really know the deepness of how things work. Mm-hmm. Why I know so much about how appliances should work is because I've been rebuilding appliances since 1964, taking older appliances and refurbishing them, and they have to work perfect.
Right.
So I know how to make them work perfect.
Because you've been making money off reconditioning and rebuilding appliances for decades.
People have been saving money.
Right.
So that was the way that situation ended up. Now, we had another situation where this friend of mine, we both at that time belonged to the Falls Creek Yacht Club, and we were way up north, about 300 miles. And I'd taken, my boat was pretty fast, so I had taken him across to a place where I used to live, where there was good crabbing there. So we're sitting on the back having a beer, waiting for the crabs to fill up,
Right. That's a tough assignment,
and he says
isn't
to me, Jack, he says, I've had 9 servicemen, and I've got a bill for $1,500 on my fridge, my side-by-side, and what's wrong with it is it builds these, like, what do they call those things, icicles, in the back of the fridge. He says they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we have to defrost it, but I'm not getting any ice. I said, oh yeah, it's probably the fill valve is leaking slowly and creating those icicles.
The ice, right, sure.
I said, not one of those sacks of sand that have been there knows that. They've changed the ice maker. They've, done that. So anyway, so I said, okay. So, okay, a couple of months later, he phones up. Well, could you come out and fix that? So I came out, and I've got an assortment of valves. And I had to take his apart and get the mounting bracket off it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what you're talking about being versatile. I don't say, I've got to get this part and I'm going to come back. I just take the bloody thing apart, get the bracket off it, and put it on the new same kind of valve and put it in.
Mm-hmm.
End of problem.
Right.
So that's when you ask me, what's the difference between me and them?
That's right.
It's called customer satisfaction and performance.
And
and there's nobody anymore that's as deep, has as the deep knowledge anymore. They're not there.
And I think
they're all skimmers.
It's a combination of having the knowledge and the confidence to be able to improvise when it isn't exactly according to the manual and it still needs to be fixed. Well, it gets fixed, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And that's a dimension of service that you provide that is simply not available anywhere else.
It used to be. It used to be available all over the place, but not quite as good as me.
The ever-modest Jack McIver with us.
Exactly.
From McIver's Appliances at 610 Southeast Marine Drive and, by the way, online at mcivers.biz. Lots more is still ahead with Jack on Experts on Call here on AM 650. Pre-fireworks edition tonight, and we're right back after this.
Delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call. And there's more still ahead on AM 650.